I am currently breastfeeding him. He was cluster feeding. I have the spinal headaches from the epidural. The afterbirth contractions, very severe pain in my back. It's very frustrating because I'm in pain a lot. I do love this Ellie baby monitor. I highly recommend getting a baby monitor. This one in particular for your baby's safety. Okay, I had to change your diaper. You ready? Here is baby Hayden's little debut. You wanna see it? He's hungry. You gonna let me do the video or you want me to feed you first? He said he wants me to feed him first. Okay, well, pause. Okay, nursing session over. So this is gonna be baby Hayden's 1 week update. And today is actually his due date. He was born on December 1st. Today is December 11th. So he's a little over a week. Where to even begin, I don't even know. Baby Hayden was born at the hospital. It was crazy what happened. My water broke right at 3 a.m. on December 1st. I was freaking out, so I rushed to the hospital. I was 4 centimeters dilated and had him at 10:12 a.m. He weighed 8 pounds at birth, which is my biggest baby. Throughout my whole pregnancy, he was measuring on the big side. They did say that he at one point was macrosomic, which means that he was 99th percentile for his size. The last time they measured him with an ultrasound, he was at the 84th percentile. My 2 other kids, they were born right under 7 pounds. So he was over a pound bigger. So I am currently breastfeeding him and he's doing really good. The first couple of days though were really hard. He was cluster feeding a lot for the first probably 3 days. I didn't get any sleep at all. He did not sleep more than an hour that first day at the hospital. And they also were coming to check on us and doing tests on us the whole time because I was suspected to have gestational diabetes during my pregnancy, even though when I tested at home all my results were fine, but they still wanted to put on my chart that I had gestational diabetes. So they kept coming every couple hours and they would prick him on his foot and check his blood sugar levels, and they were all very normal, weren't they? I'm so sorry though you had to go through that. But I know that they were just looking out for little Hayden. The hospital actually discharged me on day 1, the day after he was born. So we were allowed to come home the very next day. It was really, really weird. It was a struggle at first. Thankfully, by day 3, my breast milk did come in fully. And so he was able to get full. He didn't cluster feed as much. So he was going in couple hours in between feeding, and now at 10 days old he is currently breastfeeding every 2 hours. We did have his 3-day checkup at his doctor. We're in a bit of a hurry. We have to rush out the door now because we're taking baby Hayden to his very first doctor appointment. This is the first time that we had all 3 kids in the car together. Yeah. I had to take his temperature. He didn't like that very much. I can, maybe. And they said that his weight loss was at 5%, which is really normal. They want babies to gain back to their birth weight by 2 weeks old. And I'm pretty sure that he's probably past his birth weight at this point because he is very good at breastfeeding. He did have a little harder time latching at first when he first started breastfeeding, but it's not an issue anymore. He got the hang of it and he's doing great, aren't you? He does like to be held, but he also is doing really good in the mama-roo. So during the day when I need... Unfortunately, my memory card had ran out of space and I did not pick up the camera again to finish the video. I wanted to talk about my postpartum stage in the first week. It was much harder than I care to admit. I do want to talk about what happened with the epidural and the complications from that I'm still dealing with, but it's not as bad now than it was before. But it's still, yesterday I had the worst headache. Well, not the worst, but it was painful. Let's pause for a moment to thank today's sponsor, and that is Ellie. And they offer this incredible baby monitor as a mom to 3 little ones. I really appreciate the features that it offers. They really kept your baby's safety in mind when they created this baby monitor. If you're a mom who likes to keep an eye on your kids, know what they're doing at all times, I have the perfect baby monitor for you. You could also use this for your pets. This baby monitor will give you peace of mind, whether you're home or outside of the home. I do love this Ellie baby monitor. I highly recommend getting a baby monitor, this one in particular for your baby's safety, because we really do need to keep an eye on our kids at all times. Let me tell you about the incredible features that this baby monitor has that makes it stand out. This is what the baby monitor looks like. It's really cute. I attached it to this pole here that it came with, and you can mount this to your baby's crib so that it can look right down inside of there at your baby. What I did is I mounted it to my table in my living room, and that way it helps me keep an eye on all 3 of my kids during the day. First, it has cover, face, and rollover detection. It will alert you in real time if it detects your baby's face or mouth are covered, or if they are face down. The second feature it has is cry detection, and what I love is auto soothing. I did not know it had this feature, and one day I walked by it and it was playing a song for my baby that was crying, and it also saved the video clip from when the baby was crying. So I have like little clips throughout the day whenever it detects anybody is crying. It also offers breathing detection. It is contact free. It also has danger zone detection. It alerts you when your baby touches the virtual fence that you create on the app. It does offer baby sleep analyst report. You can look back on the past 7 days at your baby's sleep schedule. You have 2-way communication, which I have used this feature before. When my dad was babysitting all 3 of our kids, I could see that my baby was upset on my baby monitor, and so I hit the little 2-way and I started to talk to Hayden and tell him everything was okay, mama loves him, and I'll be right back. And it was hilarious because he looked in the camera like, how could you leave me? He was fussing at me. It also has a temperature and humidity sensor, which I really appreciate that I can check the temperature and humidity away from home. I also love that in the app, it will save auto pictures throughout the day. You never would have even thought to take that picture. It does have a smart timeline video review, so you can go back and look through the previous videos on a timeline. Now let's talk about the safety that this baby monitor has. So it does have a local storage and non-intrusive privacy features. You can extract the SD card, and the app interface should show that all the data is erased. The local storage requires no subscription fee, and that is claimed by cloud storage. It automatically detects your baby's cries and movements or anything else that you care about, and it will send you notifications through the app. It has a crisp 2.5K Ultra HD video so that you are able to see your baby or anybody else 24/7. Thank you so much to Ellie for sponsoring today's video, and thank you so much to you for supporting me, making it where I am able to get sponsors. Alright, let's go back to the video. I did get epidural. I have had them 2 times with my middle child and him. I'm very thankful for epidurals. I'm very thankful that there is that option out there. However, when you go into it, you could have complications from it. So for me, when they went to insert the epidural when I was in labor with him, they have you bend your back as much as possible to push out your spine, and he was inserting it. He must have hit one of my nerves. I don't know what happened, but I started kicking my husband. I kicked my husband about 3 times. I said, whoa, something's wrong. He said he's gonna move to the other side, and he got it placed. However, as soon as he had inserted it, I immediately had a headache on this side of my head, like right here, and it was pretty severe. And I even talked about it in my birth vlog. Everything was okay though, it was manageable. I gave birth to him, and the only pain I felt was when he came out. It wasn't his head, it was his shoulders and his body. I think that was the time when it just like, it tore me. I had a 2nd-degree tear, and that's what I felt when he was born. So after you get an epidural, you have to wait a couple of hours before you get feeling back in your legs, because if I was to immediately have stood up after I gave birth, right after having the epidural, I would have just fell on the floor because you're pretty much numb from the waist down. So when I finally got my feeling back in my legs, they want you to get up and use the bathroom. When I got up, I immediately had the worst headache I've ever had in my life. And I usually don't get headaches, really ever. Or I used to not get them very much at all. And when I went to the bathroom, I couldn't hardly even like get back up because my head was hurting so bad. I just had to sit there and hold my head. Finally, it kind of slacked off so that I could get back into the bed. Pretty much ever since then, I've had a very severe headache almost every single day since then, and I'm almost 3 months postpartum. I have the spinal headaches from the epidural, and I'm hoping that with time my body will repair itself and I won't have as many headaches every day. I also had a very severe pain in my back where they gave me the epidural. When I got home from the hospital the very first day, and pretty much the whole week thereafter, I couldn't stand up straight because my spine hurt so bad. I just was like slumped over. Another thing was the afterbirth contractions. They hurt so bad. I had such severe pain when he first started breastfeeding. My milk supply was not that great, and so he was cluster feeding to build up my milk supply, but it was hurting so bad. Not only were my boobs hurting, but also I was having severe cramping and severe contractions. My uterus was contracting back down. Like in the middle of the night, he would want a nurse and I would just be in excruciating pain. And the best thing that I could do to deal with that is just get up and walk around, and it would help get rid of the pain. But yeah, it was that first week was really hard on me. It was very, very hard. I also had, I've never really had this before, but I had like postpartum rage. Definitely that first day I was just very irritable for no reason at all. So the first week was really difficult and hard, and I'm sure like I'm forgetting something. I did forget a couple of things. I had that same involuntary kick that I had when they were putting the epidural in. I had several of those while I was driving down the road. Another symptom that I had postpartum that first week was uncontrollable crying. I really don't know why, but I just bawled my eyes out a lot. And it wasn't that I was sad. I just was extremely emotional. But if you're curious though, I am 3 months postpartum now, and I am still getting headaches more days than I'm not. It's very frustrating because I'm in pain a lot. The recovery was extremely difficult. But I will say though that my bleeding this time was not as much as before. I think each time it gets less and less and less. I just want to share that as well. And what do you think? So yeah, that's how my postpartum journey was the first week.